Okay. Are we live? Testing. Yep. Okay, we're live. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. Listen, I just finished watching. I realized I started becoming scared. I did. In the last video. I. It's all because. And I'm not telling you guys, anyone to stop. It's just when people identify themselves, or like I see real people in saying hello or whatever in chat, I now feel accountable. I do. I feel like if I don't live up to the expectations of what prompted you to even say hello, which is kind of like, okay, I have to be interesting or say something that you like, then you will leave and never come back. And it's scary for me. I'm completely honest. But the only way I can ever continue doing this is by what I did in the past, if it excuses anything. I have to I have to ignore. I have to have an audience, yet the size of which and the who of which is unknown to me. Otherwise, I feel accountable. And then when I feel accountable, I become scared. And when I become scared, I can't say what I want to say, or more accurately, my inner voice gets drowned out by another voice, which is almost like, are you offending someone? Are you offending someone with that? And the conflict between those two is what looking for the right word, because I think words are very important. It's what clouds, or what is the opposite of purify? I don't want to say it poisons, that's wrong. It unpurifies, whatever the opposite of purify is. It unpurifies the message. Oh, this is bad. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to put that out there because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea, because human feelings are very sensitive. I think. At least I think I feel that way, and I don't like, because I don't want to be ever offended myself, or like, so I don't want to say shit that upsets people either. But you see, there's a huge problem with this. Have you ever gone out and talked to a stranger and notice how the conversation is so restricted? You gotta restrict it to the pleasantries here. Oh, how's your niece doing? Oh, how's it? You know, honest to God, isn't it a bunch of who gives a shit, right? I mean, it's pleasant. I don't disagree. But at the end of the day, no one gives a shit, right? And when that conversation is portrayed in movies, the conversation is irrelevant. What is important is that, okay, these two strangers are interacting. We get that. You know what I mean? Why is that though? It's because you don't know what the boundaries of that person is. You don't know what they are, who they are. You don't know what they like, their political beliefs, and there's 1,000 things, probably more than 80% of the things you want to say are probably going to upset this person. So you put on another hat, which is the extremely socially acceptable hat, and this is not a bad thing, this is a good thing, and you interact with them in that way. But as someone who likes to not just end interactions at that limitation, for me that's extremely boring. Like, there's nothing to be gleaned from this, right? Unless you want something from that neighbor or stranger, you want something from them, then you butter them up, you make them feel good about themselves, etc., etc. In my whole life, I have never gotten anything. I know it sounds very selfish and very harsh, but I've never gleaned anything valuable from interacting with a pure stranger and having a banal conversation. Ever. It is just something you should do because you're responsible. So I just want to get that out of the way, right? So, in essence, if you want to hear something very, and I want to speak, I do. It's not I want to try to be something. This is what I want. I want to explore the things I am not sure about, or the things that have moved me, and I'm not quite exactly sure why it moved me. And this is why I'm doing this. If I forget this purpose, there's no point doing any of this, right? So I have to state this out loud, otherwise I myself can sometimes forget. As in, if anyone is offended, they'll just leave. Alright? And if they leave a hate comment, I've actually kind of prepared for that mentally. Leave it. I'll read it. I can deal with that kind of thing. Alright? And, okay. You had your say. I'll delete it and I'll move on myself. And I will not. Right. Because the core reason for this is you came here. I did not go to your place and shove this shit unsolicited into your room. So, this is where I get to dictate what is allowed to be said or not. I'm not going to try to be like overly offensive. I'm going on too long about this, and this is just because addressing elephants in the room. So moving on, before I even forget, I want to talk about the movie Equalizer, because I finally got off my ass and got around to seeing the whole thing. I was kind of thinking I would be disappointed because there's so many clips. I don't know, is it because the movie's old that I would say more than 50% of the running length of the movie is already free through all the clips and all that crap. And like, I just wanted to see the remaining 50 told as a whole story from beginning to end. I was kind of thinking I might get kind of, I've seen half of it. Nah, I had to watch the whole thing, you know? I had to. Just like that guy, that dude's streams, you know? Like, I started just thinking I want to watch a 5-minute clip, boom. 2 hours have gone by, I'm like, holy, like, you know, this guy's fucking entertaining. And so is this movie. I used to respect and honor, like, IMDb reviews. Like, honestly, before I even watch something, I'd have to check, what do people think? You know, like, but now I'll go by the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Because even, and not trailers. Trailers are bad. Trailers are really bad. They're like a remnant of the cinema era. Like an uncut segment is by far, I think, the best way to judge a movie, because even though it is not the whole thing, it's just a segment. I believe you can fairly judge a movie, and if you'll like it or not, by that thing, the clip. What do you call that? The clip. The word trailer has been ruined. Trailers are stupid. They do not give an accurate picture overall because it's cut too quick. It's recut. Okay, so whatever technique the editor had is kind of all ruined because there's such fast cuts, you know, and it's like the whole thing's summed up, right? I do believe you'll get the better picture of how good a movie is just by watching one segment, and this is true because I do that with books. Not that I go to bookstores anymore, but when I did, that's how I judge a book. I don't read 2 sentences on the first page, 3 in the fifth, and like, I don't do the trailer thing. I flip to the middle of the book, read 10 pages, and then think, holy, maybe I want to read the whole damn thing, you know? And that's what the clips are. And yeah, the clips sold me. I liked the movie. It did. It was so good. And it just, for fuck's sakes, it triggered things inside of me. Like, you know, like, and everything they say about movie making is true. It is simply a way to activate things that you have experienced, have know implicitly or even know explicitly, and perhaps even taps into your unconscious desires. Maybe it taps into, like, how the fuck do I know? I don't know how to make movies. To me, there's a lot of magic in that. It really is. It's when it's done correctly, I don't even know I'm there. I don't even know I exist. It's actually a very similar feeling to playing a good video game. You forget that you exist. Like, all the things you worry about or anxious about, they're all gone. Like, you're just sucked into that world, and you're there, for lack of a better, I can't explain it. Okay, it's the magic of cinema, quote unquote. And that movie did it to me. Like, you don't notice the time pass, and holy fuck, that movie, man. I can't think of another, like, it's kind of a superhero movie, isn't it? Just not so overt about it, that has the minimal amount of corny to accomplish this feat. Like, I ain't no, like, I'm not a, what is a government officials expert on how crime and all that shit works, but from what I can tell, it seems very plausible that things could unfold this way, kind of, right? I don't want to be challenged on this. It's so irritating when people go, well, the fact that they did this little blooper there, like, who cares, right? As long as the illusion worked, that's good enough for me. They don't have to go, like, through every single nitty gritty detail about why the movie was cutting. Come here. Anyway, before I get too lost in that, I have to explain, like, what is it about the movie that really... Come on. First of all, like, there's too much to cover. The one thing that really triggered me most was that I think power is underplayed. Like, there is a fantastic video yet again by this the person called Swan, who makes a series of YouTube videos. Not all of it's good, okay? Like, some of the videos I've watched, I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me, right? Maybe it resonates with other people. But there is one about power, and it was called The Truth About Power, and, bit of skepticism, but I watched it, and, oh man, everything she said is true, I think. In my opinion, everything that, I could not think of a way to say, nah, that can't be true. It's true. To me, honestly speaking, without laws or society, we would try our best to cut each other's throats out. I'm serious. Okay? And I said, it all boils down that people want shit. People want shit. And what do we want? And you say you want power, it sounds weird, but what does that mean? Like, I have to find the words for this, because it's hard. Because power is like the word love. It's so clouded, it's so mixed up with other shit, like, So, what I want to say is this, that power is like, it's basically, if the restrictions, I feel there are many restrictions placed upon me. There are. Number one is money. Like, because money will bend other people around you to do your bidding. It creates houses. You get TVs, you get computers, you get, like, it's just, no secret, no duh, right? Yeah, but how far does that go, right? And, like, I do think that a lot of people may think, well, I don't want $1 million, and I get that. I mean, like, you don't want it just thrown in your face, and worse yet, you don't want it with strings attached, as I alluded to the previous video. It's when it has strings attached to it, oh shit, like, like, I mean, you gotta earn it, right? And society even respects that. They follow how it's earned. Taxes and all that are about how did you earn it? And if it's legit, no one questions it. It's fine. Check. You can have it. You know what I mean? It's yours. And now you can convince other people to do your bidding, right? And I guess the problem lies in the fact that it's so vilified. It's so commonly associated with villains, bad people, but I don't know if this is some woke shit. It's not woke shit. I have to clarify it. It's neither good or bad, right? If you had all the money in the world, you could use it for whatever purpose you want it to, and you can do it for good, you can do it for bad, you can do it for selfish purposes. It's whatever the fuck you want, right? Like, you had, an easy example is just Path of Exile or whatever. You have like 200 divines, 300 divines. What the fuck are you gonna do it for? What are you gonna do with that, right? And though that's a very weird one because it's an RPG. You just get items. But in the real world, it's quite unlimited. The ways you, fairly unlimited, I think. The ways you could apply the money you have, right? So that's one. There's so many ways, right? And the video is so much better at explaining it because gotta calm down because that movie just got me so pumped up. And like my brain has too many thoughts now and I can't get them out one by one. So there's that. There's many. She lists many ways, right? And I just want to. I guess the best way to go about it is just to list out the oddities. I think that. Okay, first of all, before I even, I gotta get my mind on the game first. What did I do? I just beat the arena, and I guess I have to go to the. Holy fuck! It's too much. I can't play this game and talk about this stuff all at the same time. It's fucking crazy. What? The door's closed? Did I finish the arena? Yeah, I did. Shell's with me. It's good. This will help me slow down. Yeah, I gotta reframe the whole damn thing. Just go thought by thought. Too excited. Too, like, especially with Game of Thrones, it did come off as kind of corny when Cersei Lannister was like, I don't remember the entire context, but she was demonstrating to someone, like asking about the nature of power, and then she just commanded her guards to like do this, do that, and it was very threatening. And her conclusion was just simply that power is simply power, right? The ability to change shit around you as you will. And when I think about it deeply, I do think video games act as a placebo for that. Not all. I'm just saying a certain type. Especially the RPG type, I would think. Because, I don't know, I'll explore this later. But I do believe it is. It's kind of, and yet not really. It certainly captures some of the dynamics of it. Like, when I can only speak emotionally about how I feel. When I kill shit in one shot, when I kill things in 2 shots, when it took like 10 shots before, or it was harder before, it's quite satisfying, no doubt. But like, I don't know. It's like if you could obliterate your opponents in this world with 1 or 2 shots, would that not just feel as good? And whatever the opponent might be, within reason, within the boundaries of it. And okay, this point I have to get out. I am so fascinated and seduced by movies that are like about criminals. A lot of them are featured by like Scorsese and like directed by Scorsese and now Fuqua. There's another one. I forgot. But like when I look at the history of all the movies I've really liked, a lot of them are like crime, like. And I don't know why that is. Like, does that make me a criminal? And I think maybe I would have been in a different life, possibly brought up in a different world. I wasn't. I was brought up in a very normal world. So, well, I do think crime is abhorrent, especially certain kinds of it. Like, it's horrifying. But I believed crime, the things that criminals do, are a mirror of what perhaps anyone would do. If all the restrictions that are placed upon you in this world were lifted. I do believe that to be true. So it is almost like looking at our true barbaric self, one that is latent, that has been repressed for the good of society, to keep order, let's say. But there are situations out there when those restrictions can be lifted. You can theoretically exceed the police. You can theoretically exceed the government. Possibly. I don't know. Like, could you not make yourself untouchable if you had billions of dollars? Like, no one could just touch you because of what you've set up. And when you become that person, well, first of all, there must be a huge weight on that. Like, how are you in that position? The weight of that must be extremely exhausting, I must say, because it can't come for free. You got to be managing something, I'd imagine, to get that kind of like status, so to speak. But I think the more interesting question is, who would you become? And I still believe to this day, and this is such a, I think that this is a really one thing that people explore in movies is, who do we become? A normal person who is empowered suddenly by the lifting of restrictions from finances or whatever. What does he become? And sometimes they discover a monster underneath that they have never realized they never realized was even there. Okay, I'll give you only an example from my own life, because that's all I can speak with authority on. Is I have clear recollection of reviling people who do, like, without going into details, certain unethical shit. I spoke out loud about it to people. Okay? Like, I don't want to go into details because that's too revealing, and if people watch this, I don't want that to happen. But the important fact is not what the unethical shit is, just that I did speak against it, and only now do I realize perhaps that was some kind of virtue signaling, or I was too young to realize that I was never afforded the opportunity to have those restrictions, with those restrictions lifted, to discover how I would really become. And this is what Joffrey, so that's why Game of Thrones is so good, right? You look at Joffrey, he's not just an evil, like, rampaging infant. It's like, this is what happens when you give too much power to, like, someone who is not balanced. I don't know. I don't want to get into that because I don't really understand the character fully. But there is brilliance in all the characters in the sense that it captures some human essence that we have in all of us. What is it, Cuddy? Come here. Come here. Shh. You want food? All right, hold on. And, yeah. Is this even allowed to, like, use games like this? I think it is. Am I doing any harm to anybody? I don't think so. Anyway, doesn't matter. No one cares about, like, small streamers anyways, so. See, there it is. Worried about stuff, okay? Like, am I offending someone? Am I offending YouTube? This stuff will just drown out your own voice and being. And then, wouldn't it feel nice to just drop them all? Right? So anyway. So the point I was making was, I was so sure that I was a good guy. And then when afforded all the power, now you get to choose. I mean, you get to do whatever you want, sir. People are, like, waiting for your orders kind of a thing. It wasn't that extreme. It kind of felt like that. I discovered I was not as good as I thought I was. I tried to be. But there were things I did that were like, if you put them out into a book, wrote it out piece by piece, okay, like, display it on the internet, like, my entire people would disapprove, for sure. And yet, people I met thought I was a good guy, okay, because I presented myself as such. So, like, if that happens to me, imagine what the people you meet every day, like, what is going on in their, like, little closet, right? It doesn't mean they're all villains or whatever. They're just people. Everyone's just a person. Everyone kind of has the same commonalities, I think, with variations, of course. But since the power story is so welcomed, I would say, the popularity of Game of Thrones would not have been true if there wasn't that kind of dynamic within us. And the writer, George R.R. Martin, would not deliberately write that shit inside if it weren't for that dynamic within us. It's just unspoken of. And perhaps because it is so unspoken of, perhaps not so explicitly obvious, it is why we can't. I mean, I think that we can't. Our eyes can't leave the screen. I think. I'm not sure. Okay, I better play the game. I don't know. I think I'm not. I'm getting too excited and lost in this, and I am. And is that bad? I don't know. you know. Fuck. Where do I go next? Oh, there's a why. This is so helpful. Ask Golgra that you. Oh fuck! I didn't do that. Okay. Back to the village. That's very helpful. Good design. It's very good design. Like for this situation, like what do I do next? The designers of this game really have thought of a lot of things. Like they've really considered a lot. So that part is really good. But anyway. And like this thing exists everywhere, this power struggle. Everywhere. On like even Steam reviews, I'm telling you. The battle to get your reviews seen. Holy shit. On the Steam forums, the battle to get your voice heard. It's everywhere, man. And like now I understand why people get so like the word rage bait, where someone writes a very clickbaity forum title with very rage inducing content. And like why do they do this? Like the message is so it pollutes is the right word. It pollutes like the signal from the forum. Like you get nothing valuable out of this. Well, he just wanted to get heard, right? And he enjoys the power trip, I assume, watching everyone march in, add to the thread count. I mean, to him, I think the metric is a thread count, no doubt. He gleefully refreshes, I imagine, the forum page, seeing his threads get attention. The thing he dreads the most, he puts all that effort into the rage post, and no one even bothers. He just gets ignored, right? Which is what people have already discovered. You know, ignore the trolls, they say, right? But that is difficult, and certainly because those rage posts kind of do get attention. Like, you know, a good one is hard to ignore. You know, even I get tempted. Like, oh shit, I want to chime in. You know, like that to me is like it's for their own amusement, I bet. But it does. I think if I was good at rage baiting, like really good at it, and I didn't have any problems with the ethics of it, I guess, then I might do it for funsies, okay? I feel like I've got people's mentalities in my pocket, right? Which is why, like, if you added to that impulsively, and then later on, someone else says, yo, guys, this is just rage bait, I feel like I lost something, honestly. Like I was outsmarted or something, you know? Even that is like a power struggle. Honestly, it's like a silly little game, right? So even in Game of Thrones, they explore this not through just fighting, but through the it's everywhere. It's everywhere, isn't it? Like when I think about it, when they're at the small council and they're discussing like what is it, like stuff. Most notably, the scenes with the family scenes, and just all of them. You know, it's just who gets the final say, who gets what they want, right? It's all about in the end who gets what they want, and not everyone can get what they want because that just doesn't mathematically add up in terms of everything. No one can get everything they want, right? So who does? And that is the game, right? And I guess the game is exhausting, it's tiring, it's very... The thing I'm kind of unsure of and kind of am on the fence of is how do we judge these people, right? Or maybe it doesn't matter how they're judged. They will do what they will do, and really the only thing that matters is how atrocious is it and can it be stopped. That's all that matters, I think. You know? And that's why games are nice. You can relive that power fantasy, harming no one. And it's just a game, right? It's good. think. Without the game, like, and this I always remember, like, even with children, like, I think especially with boys, I would imagine, you have to give them something that they can exercise control over, you know? Otherwise, it's not good for them, right? It's good for their development. Yeah, I think it's just that thing in play right there. They need to have perfect and absolute control over this environment on their own, without assistance, and it's good for them, I think. I think games is one thing like that, right? And it should be like control acquired over mastery. Like you master something, and then you end up developing some kind of control over it, right? The control is the proof that you have mastered it. And this could also be sports, I would imagine too. Like if you watch someone play like a sport at the beginning, they suck. I don't like the word suck. It's like that. I hate that. So derogatory. It's when people play a sport at first, they're really awkward, and it's out of control. Everything, balls going everywhere. It's not fun to watch. It's and then as they practice more and more, the control becomes more and more apparent. The calmness also rises, the confidence, and then eventually, you can beat other people at it, right? Which is also very fun to watch. So also, I guess you just call it competition. I know it just sounds like so, but I think it deserves to be explored because it's not just competition; is just one element of it. It's not just that, right? In this game, there's no competition. Single player game, zero competition. It's just between you and the AI, essentially, right? Your opponent's just a computer. Okay, let's get around to fucking talking to this guy finally. And yet, I have noticed, even in a game that has internally zero competition, right? Single player game, you enjoyed the way there is dick measuring on the biggest one shot in the forums. You go and check. And it comes off as really low key, like, yo, I don't get why I did 90 million on this guy. Like, holy fuck, right? It's there. It's there. And whether it's like, and you ask the guy, nah, I was just curious about why I did 90 mil. Right. Really? Sorry. I have to call it out for what it is, right? So, like, once you understand it, though, as I may have alluded to the other video, once you understand the dynamic consciously, it may not bother so much. You'd be like, oh, I get what's happening here. And it's easier to just see it and move on. If that makes any sense, right? And not get upset or whatever. Or not get affected by it. I don't know. Because it's so clear to you what's going on. So, okay. The guy just wants to express he's bragging, basically, right? Low key, right? And, but not understanding it might get, I don't know, might get you caught up in it. I have to explore this again more because I am not clear. So yeah, there's that. Certainly, like, I think, like, from an early age, for whatever reason, the desire for power is vilified, underplayed, and seen as, quote unquote, the bad guy. Yeah, and it still is. Like, even in the movie, this movie, the guy lives like a monk, right? And living like a monk is always a good thing, quote unquote. Which is fine. Like, the movie should be easy to understand, so to speak. So we don't have to get all fancy with that. Still, though, that's not. I guess that's adds to confusion. In the real world, like, good and bad are very, very gray. I think very gray. And it's hard for me to really decipher what really is all happening at times. Oof, okay, that's a lot. That's a whole butt crap load off my mind now. Whew. Okay. Now I can slow down. Um, Another thing that I want to explore, this one's also a big one, is when a pattern of submissiveness is established, it tends to continue, even though the reason for the submissiveness is now either gone or has no reason to exist. I can only give you, again, an example of this from my own experience, which is um, the easiest one is a boss. Like, you have a boss, right? And then you work there because you need the money. That is the original premise. And because he's your boss, they are allowed to talk down to you the way no stranger would talk to you and dictate things about how you should be, dress, do things. And then essentially you give them power over you, even though it might seem like an obvious thing or a socially acceptable thing. But what I find to be curious is that even when you do have the money later, or maybe you already do have the money to not put up with this, you still do? I don't know. That happened to me. Um, like for the longest time, right? Like as I was teaching English, I had a boss and we got along, you know. He took me out to eat like ramen now and then, and but there were times he would be like, "Yo, I mean like, you know, serious talk. You can't do this shit anymore, man." You know? And then when you get like when I got all whiny and shit, he started to lay down the what is it? What's the expression like? He got serious with me. Okay, started using like swear words and shit. So, um, like you would never tolerate that kind of talk from your neighbor. You'd be like, who the fuck do you think you are, right? So then the power dynamic is so different there. Like, why is it that you can tell your neighbor to fuck off, not your boss? Because he holds this thing over your head called money, right? But what was really surprising to me was after I had a lot more money, like, it's hard to compare because I don't know how much he made. He was still my boss. It was crazy. Like, you know, I do believe at some point I was making more than this guy. And yet, I still behaved like his employee, which I don't get. It only took like a lot of time and maybe some conflict to get out of that and say, yo, hey, you know what? I just realized he doesn't have to be my boss anymore, and I don't have to listen to him, and it's weird. And then many years later, when he called me, I think, and wanted to talk about a business idea. I was like, holy fuck, like this is so weird and different, you know? But even then, I couldn't shake off the feeling like this guy kind of still is my boss. Whatever. I got to explore this later. Like, I'm not even sure what this really is. It's like some kind of human relationship dynamic that once set in place, it kind of takes root and it's hard to change, but it can change. It just takes a lot of time and push, so to speak. And I suppose that's why like there's a lot of bad dynamics that go on, and like why do they stay in that? Well, there's the reason, right? It's like maybe it's comfortable, maybe they got used to it, maybe whatever. I'm kind of navigating to like I'm not really sure about this territory because it's just, but I am curious, like what exactly is going on. I'm gonna upgrade this one, right? Yeah, medallion. So. But yeah, as I say these things out loud, I believe like maybe eventually I'll come to a full understanding of it someday. And because I tell you what, although it'd be impossible, I think, and maybe too harsh, but I kind of wish some of this stuff I knew earlier in life, because it would have helped. Or do I? I don't know. Can't say for sure. Um, oh, although I will address something. And I had a brief conversation with a really nice guy called I forgot his name. Sorry, I think Andy or something. I still remember it. It said like there's a saying in Japanese, right? Which is makitaku nai nara shitataka ni nare, which is if you don't want to lose, stop being the good guy. And I only have one example of this, but I do believe it's really. I think going through this changed me so much, like it. I got two memories associated with this. Number one, in Taiwan, way before all of this, I went up to my uncle who ran a tabloid magazine. He was kind of a big shot, relatively speaking, compared to other people in my family, and he liked me a lot. Took me to, always took me out to dinner, and like that sounds like so romantic. He took me out to eat and shit. Okay, and this I'll never forget though. Gathering with a lot of people, as it always is, with him, and he loved telling stories, like I am right now. Could be a genetics thing, and he told the whole crowd around him that my nephew here, which is me, said he loves Taiwan, and everyone's been nice to him, and he's not met a single bad person, and then the whole room explodes in laughter. I'm like, what's wrong with that, you know? But these guys who are all like from all walks of the, I would say, higher echelons of, I don't know, like one of these people was like the brother of the Taiwanese mayor, like Taipei mayor or something, and it's like, they're all laughing in unison. It's like, okay, fine, make me the butt jokes, I don't know what to say. And, but that was one, right? So obviously, like, I guess what he's alluding to is that there are a lot of scummy people out here. You just haven't met them yet. But the other one, which is a lot more sinister, and one that I remember very deeply, and probably more relevant here, because it has applications to the digital world, is the I'm not sure how this is controlled now, and if it even is, but like the shenanigans that go behind reviews, especially when it comes to like, this is why I can never trust reviews. I look at them with such skepticism, like, how many anti-fake reviews does this platform have in place? Because I've been in a position where people trusted these reviews, and it was so obvious for those in the know that these are really easy to manipulate, quite easy, let's say. And you don't want to bring this war to the spotlight because it gets kind of, it's all negative that way. But it is, I think, fought in the background behind products of the same category. And there's a complete denial that it exists. Of course, because that just looks bad for everybody. No one wins in that situation. Everyone wants to stay away from that kind of shit. So you keep it under wraps, but the battle does rage on, and like, it costs a lot of money, no doubt. But the reason why this is significant, though, is that if you try to play the good guy, as people think that is the right thing to do, morally speaking, you will lose. I don't know what to say to you. You will lose. Like, there's no divine Disney happy ending if you play the good guy. It doesn't exist. I wish it did. Because it's a lot easier that way. It's a lot more comfortable to be the good guy. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot more difficult to be the guy that everyone hates, because no one likes to be hated. But you had to do it because you need something more important needed to be done. And it completely changed my perspective on the value of being the good guy. And when I say good guy, I just mean like the likable guy, you know? Like, and I tell you, I did not feel good about doing the bad shit. At first, especially, like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this, right? But you do it, and it works. It works. Like, you tried everything else, it does not work. This works. It gets you what you want. And as far as I can tell, you just misled a few people. The fact is the other guy was misleading other people in against her favor by writing bullshit like 1-star reviews, right? Um, Defense is not the play here. What you do is you do offense. You go to their app or whatever the hell they're making, and you do the same thing, and see how they like it, and they will know it's you, and magically they will stop. And the only reason is simple. It's just like what you know, fear. They will be afraid the next time they attack you. That is by far the best defense. It is never good to play the good guy and say, I will never attack someone else. But if provoked, you should, right? And I did not like doing it, but then after you do it a few times, there is a degree of comfort that comes with it, and at that point, like, whatever, like, just throw away that shit and just kind of get it done and be on your way and stuff. And it wasn't even just one guy, like one other company doing it. It was multiple corporations going after your throat. Like, get off our fucking territory kind of a thing. And it is war on some different level. Just nobody really knows about it. It's not visible. Nobody really talks about it. But if you doubt the existence of it, there are photos back in the day of, like, it is insane. It is real. The review farm in China. Like, there was like, the image was fucking insane. It was like, the guy was like, like he had like, there's so many like bot shit from China that's so insane, right? But for me, this one was like, holy fuck, like, this is gonna, I won't speak more about that. It's just, there is insane shit. It may not even be China anymore. Maybe other Asian countries. Who knows? I just don't want to think about it. It's like, so I don't know. It's a luxury. It's a luxury to be the good guy and get what you want in life. That's a really luxurious position, if you ask me. Because competition is so intense now, isn't it? Right? It'll always be this way, I think, forever. And because you can never escape this, because at the end of the day, people just want shit, and not everyone can have what they want. And they're often at odds with what other people want too. It's just, I don't know. Saying that, it's kind of sad and lonely. I don't know. But like, was it the Beatles, John Lennon? I don't remember who. I didn't listen to that music, but didn't he say, like, wasn't there a line in a song back in the 60s, 50s, like, what's so funny about world peace? It's not funny. It's more like it's impossible. Like, not impossible, but like, it is seriously hard to maintain, I would think. Like, and the conflict that goes on a worldwide scale exists also on a family scale. It exists within ourselves. It exists everywhere. This conflict, and A versus B, and A gets their way because A beat the shit out of B, and it may not be through fists and violence directly. Just through other means, because violence has been made into a crime, more or less. So. But violence is also a way of getting what you want, isn't it? I mean, so. Alright. Maybe now I can go with the game now. I'm going to get back to the game. Yeah. I won't go as far as saying everything in the world is about power. but it looks like 80% of it is. I don't know. I think academics will be able to explain this better than me because they'll have done research on this whole phenomena. It's just, it's just unpleasant truths that don't sound nice, and they're not very digestible, and not, they taste sour, don't they, these things? Like they don't taste sweet. They don't taste like, goes down easy and everyone likes it. It's more like, ugh, I don't want to hear this, but eventually, like, you have to hear it if you get to certain walks of life, and it changes you. Maybe even makes you into a worse person overall, but what can you do, right? I don't know. Like, certainly in business, I often felt, it's like, never ever ever expect people to care or be kind. For instance, let's say your app is under attack, the app that people say they love so much and wrote 5-star reviews, well, then come help, please. My app is under attack. They ain't gonna care. They got what they wanted. They don't give a shit. It's all on you now, right? It's wrong to think that they would care. The expectation is there. Now it's your thing now, right? You have to deal with it. And yeah. So, fuck, I'm pushing on the wrong buttons. I'll get back on track. How many examples of this are there? So many of them. Like the PoE streamer that says, "Yo, ex-Diablo streamer, get the fuck out of my game." Like, holy fuck. Like, I don't know. It's like, what are we fighting for here? Views? I don't know. Views, probably views, I would think, because it's all about money. Like, follow the money, right? Although it is a cliche in movies, it is follow the money, isn't it? No? I think it is. Follow the money, and it's easy to understand what's going on, right? In the end. So. Yeah. It's exhausting, I have to say. It is exhausting. And so the people who don't want to do this, I guess they don't deserve the spoils either. It's kind of a feeling. Like, one should be at peace with the minimal amount of spoils you get if you don't choose to engage in this, right? Which, even though I think I try to do this now, it's like, well, not really, And reset my attributes here. Not exactly. Well, let's go the other way. I guess I admit that I still want this shit, but maybe I just too tired now to do it all over again, I guess. So it is how it is now, and it is okay, I think. Anywho, too serious, isn't it? But that's the whole point. If I don't just blurt it all out, it'll fester inside me, and I can't clear my head. And I need to clear my head these days, because otherwise it's too much. It's like, holy shit, it's too much. But yeah. It's like, why do I feel so at peace in the game? It's like, because it shrinks the world down into something more manageable, I feel. Like, it puts the whole objective obstacle thing that they put in, like, movies, and it puts into a very easy to understand always available package. And it's fun, you know? It was also fun to like do shit in IRL, you know, that captures the same dynamic, but as that guy pointed out very succinctly, nothing epic ever happens in my life, so I choose games, right? And that's pretty damn good. I'm sure they made that into a whole like one-liner because there's a real truth to that statement. It's not trying to be witty. There's a truth to that, I think. Like it captures a very, very, like it made me realize, that's why I'm playing so many games now, you know? So, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, if that's what it is, and that's what it is, like, you can't force epic into your real life. You can look for it, but, you know, sometimes it just happens, right? Out of the blue. Falls from the sky. Turn of events. Epic just falls for some reason. And it's fun for that time. But other times it's just same old shit every day. And then with the lack of a clear goal for today, well, this will do. This will do. I'm okay with this. Far better than having nothing, for sure. You know. And certainly far more mesmerizing, too. I don't mind, I suppose. You know. To me, though, I feel like movies and video games are just they're not the same, but kind of accomplish the same goal. And the same could be said for books, which are kind of more wholesome. I don't know why. I guess it's because they're not as addictive, but I do remember when I read a really good book, I also did not notice the time passing by or the bath water running cold. I was lost in the book, and it was a wonderful moment. But it certainly takes a lot. It takes a lot more effort, I would say, to get into a book than it is to get into a video game. Because the quality of the games they have really gone up over the years. Like, they truly have. Like, the way they're designed, and like this game, like it's so pretty. I don't know what to say. These remind me, by the way, of Turkish lights. I don't know. I kind of wish I was here, you know, like actually here, like without the risk of actual death though from like fighting something, you know, because that's pretty fucking like scary. But yeah. Like if je suis mes amis.
Ciel. Quoi? Je sais pas. Il a l'air sympa.
Oh, c'est toi. Bonjour, mon ami, la terrible nageuse. Tu es venu pour que je t'apprenne à nager?
Non.
Esquier is really well done in French. Oh man, he really
En
is.
fait, c'est un peu pour ça qu'on est venu. On doit traverser la mer. Tu peux nous aider?
Mon ami, pierre qui roule n'amasse pas mousse.
Pardon? Les histoires racontent qu'Esquier aime parler par énigme.
Comment ça?
Je comprends pas.
Nous devons absolument traverser la mer. Tu veux bien nous aider?
Vous êtes trop nombreux à transporter. Je suis fort, mais pas à ce point-là. J'ai besoin de Florie,
Qui est Florie?
une de mes pierres.
Une pierre?
Oui,
Pierre.
Florie m'aide à nager, mais elle m'a été volée par mon ennemi juré, celui dont chaque pas ébranle les fondations du monde, celui que l'on appelle François.
D'accord.
Laisse-moi deviner. François se trouve sûrement au cœur d'un territoire infesté de névrons, c'est ça?
Oh non, il est juste à côté, là-bas,
Oh,
François est mon voisin.
ah. Bon, j'imagine. On peut aller le voir.
Fantastique! Bonne chance, mes amis. Et ramenez-moi Fleury, s'il vous plaît.
Tu sens de le connaître.
Oui,
Mais comment? Je ne comprends pas.
les hommes peuvent gravir des montagnes, mais trébuchent sur des cailloux.
D'accord.
This is the most humorous segment of the game, for sure. And then the other guy, Francois, whatever, the turtle. That's pretty funny. Usually it's hard to do humor very well in these games, but I don't know. This guy's hilarious. The voice actor in French is really good. Like, I know a little bit of French, so it's the way he enunciates the words. Like, you know, it's funny.
Plus nous obtenons d'informations, plus je me pose de questions.
Ça va, Ciel?
Ouais. Et ce qui est surprenant.
Although I want to think that saying that he had at the end, I don't know what it has to do with Ciel's situation, but it is is that really a real saying? Like, men do not trip up on mountains, but on the little stones in front of him. That's a pretty interesting one. I think that's kind of true, and like the big thing you're always worried about that's like always in your sight, the mountain. I mean, maybe the thing that does get you, brings you down, is not that, but the little piece of shit rock you didn't see like in front of you. Like, maybe that's true. You know, like, but how would you ever see the rock in front of you? I don't get it, right? Well, that's why people don't. So it's a generality, like men trip up on the rock. Yeah. Yeah. Like, as an example of a rage bait post, like, is this rage bait or not? I just remember this because I said men. There's a whole post on Steam forums about someone was complaining about what is it, like, why are women so pretty in this game? Like, again, objectifying women. Come on, cut me a break. Like, come on, just give it a rest, right? And then you're like, wait, is this rage bait? You know, like, that's why, you know, because of this shit, like, I just want to go see, I don't want to read the forums so much anymore. It's like, it's exhausting. Like, you know, you have to second guess this shit all the time. Like, scroll down to check, someone pointed out it's rage bait. Like, it just adds to the mental load of reading. And you know what? Back in the birth of the internet, in the forums known as Usenet or whatever, the old ones, okay, no one ever did this shit. Like, this is by far a new thing that people do. The words rage bait and like the whole dynamics that go on, like the whole, like, the words 4D chess, which kind of is really only circled around the Path of Exile community. Because I do believe, like, usually more intelligent people are really drawn to that game, like, because it requires a management of complexity. Well, it's like, isn't this so exhausting for any of you? Like, anyway, forget about that.
Qui ose entrer chez moi? On n'entre pas comme ça chez les gens sans frapper. C'est extrêmement mal élevé.
Est-ce que c'est toi, François? C'est juste une pierre qui parle.
Je pensais que c'était Fleury, la pierre.
Une pierre? Je ne suis pas une pierre. Vous avez des gueules de monsieur. En tout cas, vous en avez à la place du cerveau. Vous voyez pas que je suis une tortue? Esquier! Arrête d'envoyer des brigands chez moi!
Cesse d'être aussi méchant. Ce sont de gentils humains.
Alors garde-les de ton côté de la carrière, là! Et vous dégagez de ma blouse!
Oui, oui, on va s'en aller. On est juste là pour Fleury.
Alors en plus de rentrer sans frapper, vous venez pour me voler en ma part.
Bullet.
Des humains,
Steal.
hein? Eh bien, il faudra me passer sur le corps!
For certain, this is a humorous. The way they're like doing that. Okay, I guess we go and fight. Expression. But yeah,
Ok.
strongest ice attack ever. Like this shit like one shots. Like I don't forget what it was. Or like if you don't have defense, that thing just completely kills you right off the bat. But whatever. All right, breaking rules.
Vous détruisez un bouclier.
Wow. Okay. Whatever, take the hit. Oof. Okay, that hurt. What? That didn't kill him?
Ok.
I'll try to parry this. Oh, getting too early.
Ça va faire
Oh,
mal.
whatever. First strike. It's a big one. I did notice this game gives you, like, you can't miss the important pictos, because they're all handed out, like, on the mandatory bosses. So, not all the pictos, but most of the good ones, the important ones, are handed out from the mandatory bosses.
Je me vengerai. Je vous poursuivrai jusqu'au bout du monde.
I'll never stop chasing you.
Mais tu peux pas bouger.
Dégagez!
So they say dégager in French. So dégager is get lost. Although I'm not sure, is that like a formal way of saying get lost, or is that the way young people say get lost in colloquial language? I don't even know anymore. They said dégager, like for scram. It sounds like it wouldn't be dégager. That's too long, isn't it? You know, it's interesting, like, because there was a guy who was speaking French in, like, I was talking to a guy in French. No, he wasn't, he was a French guy in PoE, and I wanted to know some words like, okay, how do you say grind? Like, grind for XP in French. 'Cause I want to, it's kind of cool to see, okay, what's the word for it? And very disappointed to find out that the answer seems to be grind in French is grind. It's just they borrowed the English word for it, and je grind, tu grind, il grind. Like, oh, that's pretty boring. Like, I was hoping for a new word, and nope. It said a lot of the RPG words they're using now in English. The French just use the English word as is, you know, and you know. And I do remember when growing up, the French were very, very. They would get upset over language. Like, the thing was, like, if you went to France, I'm not sure if this is true today, but if you went to France, and I know this to be true, back in the 80s or 90s, that there was a thing going on that if you did not ask for directions in French, if you know, there was a high likelihood they would just ignore you straight out. You know, and it was about, like, just, you come here, speak our language, pride, kind of a thing. I don't know if that's true today. And I can understand, though. It's like, isn't, like, the absorption of your not absorption, sorry. If more and more words are being, like, English words are, like, being used in the French language itself, it does feel like a little bit of a invasion, for lack of a better word. Like, you know, I mean, not really, but I don't know. It's like, okay, go back to him, right? But yeah, they're very protective of their language. And the one thing I could not stand about French, I really couldn't, and I think this is one reason why, like, it will never become. I shouldn't say this shit because it could offend people. But, like, every noun is masculine or feminine, and it's like, sometimes it seems almost arbitrary which one is which. And there are so many fucking, like, nouns in any language. Like, are you telling me they all know, like, is it A or B for each one? And like, if you have like feminism and shit going on, are they gonna like argue over a word? Like, yo, shit, this word should be feminine, not masculine, or masculine. You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, that's pretty like complicated. So like, I'm really glad that English doesn't have that. To be truthful with you,
Ce
because
n'est pas Flori.
Quoi? Comment ça, c'est pas fleuri?
Ah ah, je n'ai jamais vu Flori. Ta pierre est toujours aux falaises de Rosevague.
Eh ben, il m'a bien eu.
Attends, tu ne comptes plus nous aider?
Si vous promettez de ramener Flori, alors on pourra être
Tu ne
amis.
peux pas nager sans Fleury? On vient de te voir voler.
Oh,
oh,
c'est bien trop lourd. Il me faut mes pierres.
il me faut
Des pierres?
des pierres.
Hélas, je les ai toutes perdues. Je peux faire bien plus que nager. Je peux voler dans l'espace. Je volais tout le temps avec mon universo.
On t'aidera à trouver tes pierres.
Oh, c'est très gentil à vous.
Attends, François a parlé des falaises de Rochevague. Où sont-elles?
Oh, très très loin vers le nord. Dirigez-vous juste vers le grand 33. Ouh, rejoins-moi.
Yeah, this is how I know these are like live actors. That expression of that was, like Loon had a basically a what the fuck look, right? And that's not like that's not like a that's like motion captured, isn't it? Like through actors, has to be. It's too real. At least I think it is. That's my gut feeling. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. It's nice. Yeah. Like every language has its own unique quirks, you know? Like French has masculine, feminine, and French has a lot of quirks. It has way too I don't want to say way too many, like by what standard? Compared to English, it has way too many conjugations, like way too many past tense forms, and it's very artistic in a way, very overcomplicated for whatever reason. And yeah, making it kind of hard to learn. And I always thought that Chinese was like, if I wanted to get mad at someone, I'd use Chinese. It's so easy to get mad in Chinese. This is the language, the way it sounds, the way it's like, it's simple, Chinese. Like, the grammar is very simple. And, which is interesting because it means that theoretically every language could be that simple, as there's no confusion usually, right? It gets bad if you have to like, I don't think any language would ever get to this point, but like, there's an ambiguity, like, okay, I won't speak on this because I'm not a linguistics expert. I'm just saying that Chinese is really simple, and it feels good, and it sounds good to get mad in Chinese. And Japanese is like, grammar's backwards, right? Like, verb comes at the end. The one thing that really puzzled me for the longest time, though, is the use of the word omae in Japanese, because like, this all depends on who you ask, like, and the context, but it is the most ambiguous. Like, you could not really find a good definition on how it's really properly. Like, a teacher would tell you to never use this word, never, just stop, don't use it. However, should you ever go to Japan and like watch TV, they talk to each other on TV saying "oh my." Like some might even tell you that's like one person even told me like in English class, like he was telling me, yeah, that's like the equivalent of the English word "you fuck," but it's not, like because they say it on TV all the time to each other. It's almost like a friendly thing at some point. So it's this really weird space where it's like it can be used in a very aggressive tone, but it can also be used as like a kind of like a, I don't know, like with all things in language, sometimes it's hard to express in words how it's properly used, but like you always have a gut feeling of when it can and can't be used and what it would really mean. But that word, like just the word you, it just means you, but it's like a complicated word, really complicated, and all I know is you could say it this way: when you're dating a girl, she will never use that word with you. But when you get married with her, she'll start using it with you. Okay, like that's kind of how I would put it. I don't know. Um, I think that's how it really is. Like, I think it's kind of summarized best that way, uh, and from experience. Like married couples will use that for each other for sure, but certainly not when they're dating. Um, maybe a little bit depends on how close they are. Maybe, but I think it comes out a lot more in a very more hostile tone. Yeah, you never use it between strangers. That's for sure. I think that's why like they're telling you as a teacher would tell you never to use it as a general rule, because if you go about using that in public to a stranger, it's really bad. But like that all changes within private conversations and stuff. Language is so interesting, though. I really think it is. It's like it's. I was kind of privileged, because my parents put me through French school, so I feel lucky for that. And it's there was a really interesting study about this. Like, if you pick up a second language before the age of 9, I think, I'm not quite sure. It's like something like that. Like, it's a lot easier to pick up a third, fourth, fifth because if you don't, the second language becomes extremely hard to acquire, apparently. And like, I would never believe someone telling you it's never late to learn a second language. Kind of true, but not really. If you're like 30 and you never picked up a second language, I think it's too late. Like, it would be really hard. It's not just language, it'd be anything. Because sport, there's always going to be exceptions, but like, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. That's for sure. That's for sure. Do it earlier is always better. Your mind's like more malleable and can absorb like difficult things like language a lot more easily. Like now, if I were to, like now I think I could still pick up a Latin language, for example, pretty well. But like Arabic would be completely out of reach. Like just no way. Like it's just too complicated. And that's with knowing like more than one, like more than 2 or 3 languages, right? But yeah, it's just like it's really important to get that into like, if it's important to have a child, let's say, know a second language or third language, it must be done early. And I was privileged to have this. Like I was one of the good things my parents did to me was they put me to French school. And although I never used French in my entire life for any practical purposes, it did set the stage for me to learn other languages very quickly, like Japanese, which very funnily, it overwrote my French. So like there were a few instances where I tried to speak French, because there were only like a few occasions. I mean, like on one hand, okay, I can count them, where I kind of wanted to speak French, and out came Japanese. It was like hilariously weird. Like it had overwritten the brain cells that contained French in a way, and really strange feeling for sure. Yeah. Um, then like playing this game was really fun for me because I always wanted to know how French people actually speak French. And there's always that gap, right? Like between what school teaches you and how it's actually spoken. And like I never wanted to get too I never cared too much about the way it's like grammatically like correct, or just tell me how people actually say shit, right? Is how I felt. Just tell me. Like I'm just skip all these steps. And like I was a fiend for grammar. I loved grammar when I was like maybe like in university or so, but then after noticing how ineffective it was at acquiring a language, I just completely dropped it. And like, yeah, just do it the way a child does it. Just imitate other people. It seems to be it works way better for learning a language than studying the rules of the verb subject. Like those are interesting after you learn the language, not while you're trying to get your first steps in, I think. Or perhaps in conjunction, but certainly not as a primary base, I think. Yeah. Certainly one of my misconceptions when I was, because I was, in French school, I was heavily drilled with grammar. I was writing out conjugations like je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes. But like, it helps, just not as much as the time you put into it though. Like,
On aurait dit qu'il me connaissait. Qu'il me connaissait personnellement. Je comprends rien à ce qui se passe. J'ai l'impression d'avoir jamais rien compris. Comme si je passais toujours à côté de ce qui est évident pour tout le monde, sauf pour moi. À lumière, ma vie n'avait aucun sens. Et j'avais ma place nulle part. Mais ici, alors que je commençais à aller mieux, tout ça arrive.
Ouais. Moi aussi, je déteste ça. Les choses qu'on ne comprend pas. Face à elle, on se sent tout petit et impuissant. Mais ça m'aide, tu sais, de me concentrer sur ce que je comprends. Sur les personnes à qui je tiens et qui tiennent à moi. Et comme ça, je me sens moins perdu. Parce qu'au moins, on est perdu ensemble. Quoi? J'en fais trop, c'est ça? Non.
j'en fais trop, too cheesy. I want to know what cheesy means in French. Trop? I think it's too much, they said.
Parce que je pensais qu'aux filles.
C'est vrai. Mais tu sais quoi? Les filles ne pensaient pas à moi du tout.
Ça, je veux bien croire.
Ça, je veux bien croire.
Tu peux me parler, tu sais. On est une famille.
You know what's interesting though? When I hear French,
Ouais. Bah, ces documents disent sûrement qu'on est mort.
I feel
Alors,
Ouais, il y a des chances. Ouh, joli coup.
I feel like I don't,
Avec cette confiance, je t'ai dit.
maybe like I'm a child again. I don't know. I feel like
Comme ça.
j'ai eu
it's
un
comfortable, you know, because it reminds me of French school.
No.
But it's kind of cool seeing it spoken casually like this. Because it's weird. Like despite all that French education, I never got to see two people speak casually in French with each other. Like that's so weird. 6 years of it, not once. Could have been good to show us some French cartoons. I'm serious. Like I don't know. Like is it so bad to expose the colloquial side of a language? I don't think so. I mean, it is after all how it is actually spoken. So, there's no need to formalize it. Okay, this is actually interesting too, okay? Speaking of which, here in Japan. This is a life experience I'll never forget. And yeah, this is for me because I don't want to forget this. I don't want to forget this because I know who it is. I'll just admit who it is. But there was this lady I spoke to once, and by all accounts, she was a very nice person. She was related to my boss, and we were on very good terms. And but when she spoke to me, I don't know why, she was using the super polite version of Japanese, which is like going beyond the regular example. Like if you want to say eat, taberu, right? And the polite form is tabemasu. And I have, you know what? Been here for like 20 years. I can't. Meshiagarimasu? I don't remember. There's like a special form sometimes of like of all the verbs in a super polite way that's rarely used. And did they call it keigo? I don't know. I don't care. To be honest, I don't care about that stuff. And but she did, because speaking to me, knowing that I am a foreigner, I don't speak like perfect Japanese. I have no clue to this day why the hell she's not just come down to my level and just speak plain Japanese, you know? Like, she is Japanese, so why the hell did she have to insist on, you know, like, and it was so hard to understand what she was saying. And the only thing I interpreted that as, it didn't sound intelligent, nice, or anything. It just sounded snobby, honestly. And I have no clue why to this date she wanted to do this. But it stuck in my head. It came off as snobbery, and I may have taken it the wrong way, but what is wrong or right? It is taken as it was taken. And so, like, that's why I would never do that, like, you know. And no insult to the Japanese culture or anyone else who's Japanese, but I fucking hate, like, those kinds of, like, ultra polite. I mean, no, I don't. That's the wrong way to say it. Like if you're in a service business and you want to communicate like complete submission, or like we're at your service. Of course it's good, but like why would a normal person ever use that with someone else? Like, it just sounds like honestly, it sounds like virtue signaling. I can't explain it. I don't know much about it, but anyway. I guess it kind of feels like if shit really needed to be said and done, we would not dote on such details of the language, like, you know, like the message becomes secondary to the way it is expressed. Like, the way it is expressed becomes more important. Like, you know, feels like, please notice the fact that please notice the fact that I'm speaking to you in this way. It would be kind of like someone speaking like in, I don't know, like using all these fancy English words for no other reason but to confuse you and to sound smart. It's dishonest, isn't it? It's almost like a power trip, to be honest. Like, you know. But whatever. You know, plain speaking is always the best. It's honest. It's understandable. It's unmanipulated, I guess you would say. And so that's why I want to learn like the way it's spoken most commonly, because that's what language is, right? A tool to get to every person that you can get to without confusion. So, no, was I headed this way? Yeah, I was. Okay. Am I? Oh fuck! I walked the wrong way again. Wait. Yeah, I did. Next part is the cliffs. The cliffs, right, the cliffs. And also, I think that language is also not just, as much as I thought I knew Japanese, it's only until I actually lived here for like, and talked to many different people that I really felt like I knew it. Like speaking to like 3 people, let's say, you then know like a certain kind of Japanese, and then you go to the country itself and speak to 10 more people a lot, it becomes more and more refined, and you live for like 15 years, and then it becomes more and more and more and more refined until it approaches a shape, but never quite, never perfectly, especially when it comes to writing, what the people who grew up there have. I feel like it's always an approximation, and it's weird because, like, you know how it's so creepy how like you can detect just a little bit. This guy may not be a native English speaker, right? Even though the accent is only slightly off. Now, what is the command to load? Oh, Mount SK here. Yeah. I thought that was kind of weird, you know? And I remember, like, the French singer Celine Dion, like, she sang a lot of English songs, and it sounded pretty good. Like you couldn't really, you don't go, oh, that's a French accent, like, right away. But apparently she had a lot of training from, like, a coach or something, and I think that's very impressive. Like, that's, I guess it's the same skill that if you can make yourself sound British, which I can't, not accurately at least. I can try, but it's like not even close to being accurate. But a skill like that, right? It's very impressive. One other thing is, and this is really true, if I record myself talking in Japanese, when I say it, I think I sound authentic. I think I sound like perfectly on spot, like on point. But if I record and play it back, I think, ugh, that's one hell of an accent. And I don't understand that discrepancy. I really don't. Now, it's not the case with English, right? With English, I sound like, I feel like I'm, of course I am, because I was born in an English-speaking country, but, like, when I hear it back, it sounds authentic as well. So it is kind of weird how, like, my second language is, like, it sounds different when it sounds shittier when I hear it myself. And it doesn't sound that good. It doesn't sound as good as I think it does. And the same would apply to when I sing as well. So that's really fascinating to me. Like, why do I hear it better? So it could be just the same thing. Like when you're, as I pointed before, like when you're like playing a game or you're speaking, you can't really hear yourself or see yourself play, as you are doing the thing and trying to absorb it simultaneously, and the brain can't use its full power, I guess, for. So, but then later, when you record it and watch it later, then you're not doing anything but listening and watching. Then you see new things, you hear new things, and that's the whole value. Is where she flirts with him, right? One thing that was kind of like weird, kind of. It's like they're all kind of like Ciel in particular. She's really like. Isn't she married? I don't get it. Is he dead? I don't remember. But whatever. But I don't know. Yeah. Man, they're flirty, huh? All of them. Anyway. Party got switched again? What's going on here? Nope. Okay, good. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty, huh? Okay. I may be forgetting to breathe sometimes. There's too many thoughts. Just too many thoughts. Just never ending. I will say this, like for example, I think it is a lot harder to be liked. Like people who stream and are liked from an uncut stream, that's quite something. Well, I guess you can't really like the guy or the streamer unless they do uncut because you'll never get the full picture, but that's difficult. Like, Jesus. It's so easy to just take a video and cut out the parts that used to you don't like this about yourself, or you didn't say the right thing here, and cut them all out and then present that version, just the good parts for the public. Whereas some other people are just so, I don't know, they don't care, or they're confident, or they're just overall they know they're fine. They just shoot like 6 hours of themselves, everything they do, and there's no editing because everyone's seen it already. So I think that takes a lot of courage, honestly. Like, it's quite impressive. um, like, isn't that very impressive? Like, because not even like actors or whatever do this, right? Like, I'm trying to think here. Am I forgetting something like important occupation? Like, comedian has to just focus for 1 hour, 2 hours, right? Um, some of it's pre-recorded too, right? I don't know. Like, because I think it's really hard to be in your best behavior for 8 hours straight, and some of those streams go for 8 hours straight. I think that's incredible because, like, it's like, now that I think about it, like, so
On peut s'en servir.
I suppose that's why you feel close to them, isn't it? Right? Right. Right. Okay. This just brings me to another point I wanted to make. I have to make this, otherwise I'll forget. I'll forget. Like, okay, back to the movie Equalizer. Like, so I never saw the scenes about, like, initially, right, how McCall meets the girl in the diner, Alina. And like, I only saw in the previews like when they start talking. But I believe the first 20 minutes of the film are just about how they kind of gradually like start to meet and like see each other on a regular basis. Like, just, and then like the scene that kind of touched me the most was like, there's so much apprehension on Elena's part. Like, she's talking to him in like a very smart ass guarded way, from the get go, which is how we do things right in real life. If you put on a smart ass hat, you never, not smart ass, but like the clever witty mask. Okay, it never fails to score points, right? But like, so she does that at the beginning, guarded, and then like when she knows she's in big trouble, right, and wants some like, someone to talk to really about the whole thing. Then she like really shyly approaches him and like, "Is you sure it's not interrupting?" And like, and then like, and then those always is going like, "Yeah, it's okay, come in," right? Like, kind of like, "Come to my table." And then the fist bump, right, which is not corny at all because they do it well because she hits him really hard, and Denzel gives that charming laugh, like, like, ow, and then like at that very moment the ice feels like it's broken. You know what I mean? Like, now she can finally talk to him. Like, through, it took that much setup, that much guard, and like Denzel wanted that the whole time. He wanted to talk to her the whole time, right? And it's done very well, I think. And it's like, why all that setup though? You know, because I never saw it before. Like, why all that setup for this scene? And because we're always on guard, right, with people we don't know. But then that brought the question of, why are we always so on guard? Like, should we throw that all away because it's preventing us for, like, say, these great encounters? And I say no. I think the guard is there as an evolutionary thing. The people who didn't have that guard have all died, I think, in the past. It's because for every great conversation you might have with someone, there's probably 9 others that would just be totally against your favor. Like, you walk into shit that way, probably, if you just went around and did that, like, openly. Like, just had no guard, open up to people, like, right away, without any forethought of who they are and the situation. And you get torn apart, basically. And that's how hostile things are, right? That is the power struggle in a way, I think, in a way. You get torn apart like that. So, but it is also equally understandable how both these people in the movie needed that kind of, you know, talking, like that opening up, right? And, like, that's where the music is so good. Like, I never noticed it in the past, but the music plays, which is very, like, kind of a sad, melancholy tune. It plays precisely when the fist bump happens. So, like, I only kind of became hyper conscious of this after learning about editing and, like, how, like, things all piece together. And of course that's a no-brainer to me there. The music is an indicator of the intimate conversation. It is. I don't know how people perceive it, you know? Like, I think it's not that obvious, like, if you're not paying attention. But now it is, kind of, right? So the moment the fist bump happens, the music starts playing. And then, like, if you are into the movie, that's when, like, you kind of, like, your mode shifts into, like, okay, now we're just in a private room with these two people. And the conversation becomes front and center stage, what they're saying to each other. They start whispering, like, like they're close. You feel the closeness in the scene, right? And there's still apprehension, but there's closeness now. And the best part was when the cell phone comes in. When the cell phone comes in, it rings. And I remember this so well. Alina goes, like, this exasperation. But more important, the music cuts out fully. It just cut music right there. And as a viewer, I'm like, oh, like, intimacy gone. Cell phone, they express the real life feeling of you're having a good conversation, and here comes, boom, a cell phone call comes in, interrupting it. It's very, very yuck. I can't explain it. But it's captured so well with the cut of the music, too. And it's like, oh, wait, is that over, this conversation? And then, thankfully, she, like, goes, and then hangs up the phone right away. Doesn't even bother picking it up. And then returns her attention to McCall. And then the music starts playing again. And I thought that was just really lovely. That was really good. It was wonderful. And I always think, like, it is a big deal, the cell phone, obviously. I don't like carrying them around because they are interruptions. And I remember this too. Like, when you watch, like, two people together at lunch, they're sitting together, but they're both glued to the cell phone, and they never say like, I actually observed this before. They don't say a single word to each other. Okay, not a single word uttered to each other. And it's like, there's something up there. There's something up there. I don't know. Like, you can't just tell me, oh, just because there's more interesting shit on their cell phone than a conversation. Well, then, no way. No fucking way. Like, hell no way. Hell no. You have all the time in the world to be on your cell phone all the time. I don't know. I mean, you can check something, I guess, but, like, I know if I'm talking to someone and they allow the cell phone to take priority over it, doesn't feel good. But then, like, if they start ignoring the cell phone, well, now you got their full attention, right? Like, so that's really interesting. Anyway, that's a very distant memory of mine. Like, I think it was a mother and daughter together, and it's like they had nothing to say to each other from the moment they sat down to the moment they left. Their eyes completely glued to the cell phone, both of them, and not a single word. And I know this because I was watching them. I couldn't help it. It's just they were like in my line of sight the whole time. So and I was alone, so I just watched them the whole time. I don't know. It speaks something to me. Like when nothing to say, I guess, right? But then when there's nothing to say, that also says something. When you feel like shit, there's nothing to say, that also says something. Like, something's wrong. Not wrong, but something's up, I would think. Yeah. I think. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this subject. Just that it stands out to me. That's all. It's all I can say with authority, because it's not something that I would really think it's that special. Just, yeah, it stood out to me. My brain, out of 10,000 memories, it chose to remember that one. That's it. Like, and I trust my memory because I do. I don't know why it's crackling up. I gotta kill one guy though. Otherwise, this game is coded so, like, I think the first enemy that you kill in every zone awards you, I think, an item or a picto or something. So, yeah, it's always worth killing the first guy, I think. Anyway. I do think I'm gonna watch that movie again, as crazy as it sounds. Like, that was my thing though. If I like a movie, watch it like dozens of times. I have to. I need to understand it. I have this urge to understand it in its entirety. Absorb it fully. And sometimes after watching it 20 times, I still don't get it, like, fully. And all the better, because I can watch it again. I think if I understood it fully, I'd stop watching. Something like that. But yeah. Haven't you all experienced this before? Like, I remember this just recently. Like, someone comes over, you're talking to them, and let's say like a cat interrupt. Like, personal example. I'm talking to someone, okay, and as I'm talking, they're listening apparently, but then as my cat meows, they go, "Ah, Karin-chan, doshita no?" Like, they'll shift their attention, and it feels like shit, because it feels like they're not listening. They'll say, no, I'm still, of course I'm listening, just your cat came up, right? I said nothing though. And later, as my conversation intensified, I'm not saying like I rose my voice, I'm just saying, as I guess the content got more interesting, I did note that the cat did the same meow, and no flinching, no distraction there. The cat was ignored the second time. So, just saying, something's wrong. Yeah, I just saw that. I see what's going on here. It's a graphics thing. Like, My computer's struggling to keep up with the shaders or some textures, maybe, huh? I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Ok.
No, holy shit. Okay, I'm not even like playing anymore. I'm just half asleep here. Oh, I see. I put 0 points into speed and everything into defense. So stats in this game really do matter, because I put like 50 points into defense and 0 into speed, and the turn order is horrific. It's like I take no damage, but I don't get to act. So whatever. Where's an AoE attack? Do I have one? Maybe I don't need one. Oh, I don't need one. Flying, right? Yeah, that's enough. Okay. I gotta respec, because having no speed kind of sucks. Alright. Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of thought like, this is where the whole people telling you like, I'm listening. I wouldn't go with that. Go for the subtle cues that indicate they're actually listening. And that's communicated also in movies. If they want to express someone's listening, it's not the verbal declaration of I'm listening means I'm listening. It's ignoring the cell phone. Like in that case, I do believe they inserted that cell phone scene for two reasons. One, of course, is plot, but the other one is also that Denzel has her full attention. Must be, because because she makes a conscious choice. In fact, it's even more so, because when I think about it again, it's more like she should answer that call. Like, it's not just something. It's like an important interruption she's ignoring, and she completely ignores it because she's too engrossed in the current conversation. So I thought that was really well done. I don't remember another instance of a scene that expresses so well. And I Can't Be Alone. The scene was picked as one of the feature clips. So, and it was a great selling point for me. Like, when I watched that scene, I kind of want to watch the full movie went up by like 40%, honestly. Then one action scene 70%, and then okay, I'm convinced. I want to watch the movie. So the clips did their job. You know what I mean? Like, it's like part of what pushed me over the edge, because it's hard to convince people these days, I think, to watch something like that. So, the fuck, the tonk. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, 2014, huh? That is a long time ago already. Even though it feels like yesterday for some reason. Holy shit. For me, it does. Okay, the lag is unbearable. Christ, it's like my computer's crackling up. Sound disappearing. Whatever, it's okay. I'm not gonna reset it because I'm just it takes too much time. I can just reload, I think, right? I thought the bugs would be ironed out by now. All these patches. Because this is happening again and again. Okay, whatever, I'll just ignore it. There's no point talking about it. It's what it is.
Ok.
He's not dead? Oh my god. Okay. Oh yeah, confident. Okay, that was an important fight. I need that picked up for sure. Okay. I'm putting that one on. Now, like with these stats, she's invincible, right? That much defense, and story mode, she's invincible. Gotta reload the game though. Yeah. All right. All right. Back in here. Anyway. Yep, it's fixed. So there's kind of a memory leak or something like that. Like it's a horrible memory leak. Now it's all smooth again. Yeah. So. Okay. That's nice. Follow the lamps. Think.
Ça part.
Holy fuck. Alright. Yeah. This way. Isn't it this way? I think it's this way. Anyway. Then there was a attention economy. Holy man, like, no doubt that exists. It's gotta be this way. This game uses indicators that the lamps are the indicators that, huh? It's gotta be this way. No? Yeah. I think it's this way. Alright. Here we go. I don't know why my brain is so, again, it's silenced again. It's just quitting the game and coming back. I feel like, interesting. Feel sleepy again. Shit. But Okay. This kind of sucks, but let's do this. Yep. That's nice. Hmm. There is something about dark places, huh? Don't know what it is, but like... Right. Another thing I wanted to say too, like there was like something that stood out to me, like the phrase that I feel like in the dark. I prefer the dark and the night because in the dark and night it feels like anything's possible. And I feel like that's kind of like how I feel through the day, like how I feel too about, like whenever something quiet about the night that that I like a lot. And people have indicated before, like, night owls, they do their best work at night, right? And creative people, especially. And I do think, like, there's a distinction between day and night. I think at night, the greatest ideas come to you at that time, probably. But if you need to organize or like, I think like the soul, or like, I'm trying to think about this here. Like, in the morning, it's more like you feel more focused and organized. But at night, it feels like your mind will drift off into various spaces and find stuff there. And what I also remember was like, every time it seems like life seems to be like completely like upside, like in turmoil, let's say. Like, I spend more time in the darkness for some reason. Like, whether it's more time at night or just sleep schedule slips that way into the night. And yeah, I think like this is very peaceful for whatever reason. Just the cave itself, the lights, like this. I think this area is for the mimes, right? Okay, so how do I proceed? I remember like someone saying also that after things went really bad for her, that that her sleep schedule went completely reversed. So I think it's quite a common thing, I think. It is. Like, and it's portrayed often in characters in movies, right? Like, characters in turmoil often characters in turmoil often are seen like tortured, like being tortured like, as tortured souls at night, late at night, like 3, 4 a.m. kind of night. And it's interesting because what is that really, right? And I cannot escape the fact that I, like, the one time, or the times I've been able to maintain the best sleep schedule for myself, or when things in life were like in complete order, like just, and it's not even about sleep hygiene at that point. It's just, I think the sleep habits kind of, not always, but it's certainly, I think the sleep habits, they really follow your, what's going on in your life, basically. So like at that point it was very easy to have a good sleep schedule because things were in order overall, and then things were in order with my sleep. But when that got disrupted, or when it gets disrupted, so does my sleep. So I guess no mystery there. It's just that I just think there's some kind of meaning behind like I know myself, like, that there were a lot of times in my life where I had the complete night owl lifestyle, like sleeping all the way until 4, like 3, 4 p.m. Okay, and then oh man, now I think about it, a lot of people I've ever met, this happened to them too. Like, this one also I'll never forget. I remember this one guy, he said, like, he was left all alone at home while his parents were like off to his mother and his brother were like gone off to somewhere else. And he told, like, I remember he was saying he was waking up at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. It kind of struck me as weird because he looked like a very, like, well put together guy. Like, he was just, I don't know, so like he had his life in order kind of guy. But during that time he was saying, like, yeah, he's sleeping at like 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning and waking up at 4, and most of the time on a computer. And then he was saying, like, yeah, it's because that way the day's over more quickly if I do this. There's something there, isn't there? I don't know. And yeah. So I don't know. I think, like, there's something to be said for when like we all know this to be true, right? Like, if you, well, first of all, it indicates lack of structure in life, doesn't it? Right? Because you don't have to wake up at a certain time, but also that, like, I never had to wake up at a certain time. Like, there's no absolute reason why I had to. Just, it kind of, the sleep schedule kind of fixed itself when other things in life started to become in order, so to speak, and then it unregulated itself accordingly. So, it was not easily manipulated. I suppose that's what it is. It's an indicator, just like insomnia. It's an indicator, isn't it? I'm so lost in this area. Like, is this the right way? Oh, this is the right way. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then, like, for ever, I've never liked overhead lighting for some reason. Like, just like this kind of area. All the lights in an area placed below your eye level. And, I believe David Fincher, the director, he also, all his movies do that. They almost never have overhead lighting. It's always like, not always, but very common. Yeah. Let's see. What do I do here? Shoot that guy down first. Is he flying? Okay, I can't tell. Yeah, he is. He died in one shot. Okay. Oh, this guy. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah. Alright.
Faisons couler l'encre.
Oh, there's loot for this too, huh? Used to be, I don't know why, but there seems to be like a best time for everything throughout the day, isn't it? I feel like organizational stuff and like busy work, like usually after you wake up in the morning, and afternoon's a huge like downtime, I guess. Then like more busy work at night, and then like once the night goes down, it's like, okay, now I want to like, I don't know, it's like an instinct gets fired up. Like all the game time usually centered around nighttime. Not just because of like scheduling and shit. It's just something about it though. Oh right, I also gotta say this right again. That streamer, quite often, one thing I remarked was his room was pitch black. And it's not easy to do that in order to, like, you know. It's smooth, isn't it? But I think they took it to a new level with the, anyway.
Ok.
Oh man, overwhelmed here. Okie dokie.
On détruit leur bouclier.
This is one fucking long fight. Nice.
Ça va faire mal. On détruit leur bouclier.
Ah, shit.
Sur moi. Prête à frapper fort.
Holy crap. So I feel like this. Alright. Just take him down. No? Holy shit, things have a lot of HP.
Dansons. Ok.
Ah, come the fuck on, man. That was the last hit that hits. Fucking shit, man. Man.
Faisons couler l'encre.
Ugh, the armor. Ah, this is pretty irritating, this fight, you know. Come on, give me a turn. Alright. Here we go.
On détruit leur bouclier. Prête à parer.
Ugh. Alright.
Affûté.
Alright. Okay. This disorienting. Every time I finish these random fights, I feel like, you know, like I don't know where to go next. Yeah. And speaking of like the power struggle thing, it's like, yeah. Well, I'll talk about it another day, I guess, because I'm getting sleepy again. Holy shit. No, I guess I'll stop at the next waypoint because yep, here it is. Oh, I kinda wanna beat the boss though, but nah. I'll do that tomorrow, I think. It depends. I'll do the boss. Huh. Oh man. It is kind of weird that this is the best way to get some sleep. It's so weird, like I still can't believe like doing something like this is what causes like relaxation. Like it's pretty still blows my mind. But yeah. These are supremely annoying boss fights. Oh man.
Sur moi.
Okay. What the fuck? This one.
On détruit leur bouclier. Lame affûtée.
Nice.
Ok.
Oh, there's a lot of shields.
Prête à frapper
Okay.
fort. Lame affûtée. On détruit leur bouclier.
Nice cutting. What is it?
N'abandonne jamais. On détruit leur bouclier.
Oh, come on, cutting. What? What is it? Come here. Come on. Come on. Lie down. Better. Okay. Alright.
Qu'est-ce qu'on a là?
Oh, Flori est là-bas.
It's weird that, like, even after all this time, I still don't. You know, my uncle never liked cell phones. He said, and I was kind of in agreement. Like at the time, like the cell phone was taken off in popularity a long time ago, and he said he never liked cell phones. I could never understand really why though. What is it about a cell phone you dislike so much? And I kind of understand. It's like it interrupts the flow and rhythm of things. It obviously has practical uses and all that, but like I don't know. It's weird. It's like oh shit. No. Oh, I should have healed. I don't know. It's like fast for some reason. How the boss is dying so much more quickly than the regular mobs. Makes no sense, actually. It does remind me, though, like, speaking of cell phones, like, man, I'll never forget that scene I saw, like, okay. This is a jumbled mess of a boss. Like, where's his head? Where's his... Yeah, okay. So, up, right, left, top, huh? What the hell? I got no turn... What? What happened there? Huh? There's no lamp game? Alright, then forget it then. Mental Forte here. Huh? Ah, shit. I don't have Mental Forte on? Whatever then. No, not whatever. Have to do Spark on it. Oh, that's a long sequence. Alright. Okay, left, up, down, right. Moving, please. Okay. It is a lot harder to aim on controller than mouse. Jesus Christ. Okay. Swift stride. Okay. Upright, left, down. What? I don't feel like I feel them. Great. Should have just attacked instead. Okay. Oh well. Ouch. Okay. Virtual spell. Just jump, right? Right, up, left, down. Okay. Alright. Okay, not so bad.
Il est mort, là. Vraiment mort.
On dirait bien.
C'est ça?
Génial! Alors, c'est parti! Allez-y! Sautez, mes amis! Ce n'est pas
Yeah, I'll skip this scene because it's the most...
Traverser la mer. Gustave.
It's not one of my favorites.
On ne vous a rien fait. Rien. Vous devrez être dans le même...
Oh,
Laissez-la partir.
Il se passe quelque chose là-haut. Esquier, amène-nous là-haut. Merde, merde, merde!
It's pretty cool looking, huh? How they do that. Okay, skip. Alright. Alright. Now I can go to sleep, I think. And, yeah. Tomorrow will be like, I guess I want to try figuring out what the hell that bug is with PoE2, huh? Plague Bearer. Though I'm not too sure if I care all that much. Anyway, that's it for now. Oh, Verso, yeah.